Hello everyone! In this tutorial I'll show you how to create a comic book look on any picture you choose. Specifically in this tutorial we'll be working with this picture of this woman here, which is just a simple stock photo. Okay, first of all I'm gonna import the picture itself. So dragging and dropping it into Photoshop. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change the contrast of the entire picture. We'll just choose a very simple standard image adjustment. So go to Image Adjustment and choose Levels or Control or Command L. We'll now increase the contrast in the darker areas like so. Should be sufficient for what we're going to do. And then we'll click OK. Next up, we're going to work with some filters. So we'll go to Filter and we'll like to choose the Filter Gallery. So open the filter gallery. I will zoom out a bit. The filter that we're going to use is the film grain, which is located here under the folder artistic. There are a lot of different filters to choose from where you can create different looks and feels. The film grain will give us the grain that we need in the picture to achieve the comic book degraded kind of print effect that we want to achieve. I will leave the settings as standard. It all depends on the resolution of the picture itself. So you might need to change it depending on which picture you're using. But I'll click OK. Next up is we need to duplicate this layer. You can do this in different ways. You can right click it and you can choose duplicate layer. You can also drag the layer onto the new layer icon. It's basically up to you and your workflow. Next up, we're going to add the printer effect. So the droplets that you normally see if you zoom way in onto a printed piece of paper. So we go to Filter. And we choose Pixelate and we choose the color halftone. So color halftone. This menu doesn't have a preview, which means that we can't see the preview of the settings that we are currently changing. I will again leave it as standard. You might need to increase or decrease the radius in pixels depending on, again, the resolution of your picture. So for this picture, the standard settings work well. I'll click OK. I'll zoom in a bit here so that you can see the effect that we achieve. So we get all of these colored dots that basically define the picture and the original pixel values. To get the picture looking a bit more natural, we'll actually choose a blending mode for this background copy layer that we have here. So we'll go to blending mode up here. So instead of normal, we will choose darken. So as you can see now, our background layer here, our duplicated layer, actually integrates well with the layer below it. And we get this kind of color halftone printing effect. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add this stroke or this vignette around it, basically just a border. We can do this on the top layer because it won't have a big effect on the blending mode itself. We'll go to the effects button down here. I'm sorry it's a bit out of screen here, but we will click the stroke. Then we will get this dialog here, which will enable us to add a stroke around the entire picture. First of all, we'll set the color to something that is a bit more comic book paper-like, so I'll go into the yellowy oranges here and I'll choose kind of a beige off-white color. Click OK. I will increase the size, of course, to something about 100 pixels for this picture will suffice. As soon as you're satisfied, you can just click OK. So now we have the frame around the picture. The only thing that we need now are, of course, the graphics. We will add a new layer on top of the two layers that we already have. So click the new layer button down here. So for this, we'll just create like this exploding star thing. I will choose the polygonal lasso tool up here. I will just zoom in for this. I'll put the sign up here. So we will click. Basically just draw any shape you want. You might as well also draw like a oval or a circle. It's basically up to you which kind of graphic you want to create. I'll just do this freehand, like so. So this is currently my selection. Now I need to fill it out with a color. I could use the paint bucket tool, but for this I'll just choose the brush. I'll choose a, let's choose a yellow color, and I will paint over the star. So this element needs a stroke. So first of all, deselect the star itself. So Control D or Command D. On your keyboard, go to the layer itself, make sure that it is selected, click the FX, once again click stroke, sorry that it is out of screen. We don't want a stroke of 100 pixels, so we'll dial it way back, like about 9 or 10 pixels. We'll set the color to something else than that beige color of the frame. I'll choose like a deep red or Bordeaux or something like that, and I will click OK. So what's nice in this 2015 CC version of Photoshop is that we can actually stack these strokes. So if I click the plus button here, I can add another stroke. Currently I have 2 of these Bordeaux strokes at 9 pixel size just on top of each other. So if I choose the top one, I change the color to, for instance, black, and I dial this way back to about 2 or 3 pixels. You can see that I get this black stroke around my entire star, but also still have my Bordeaux in the middle. So when I'm satisfied with my settings, I'll click OK. We might as well also add a drop shadow or something. You can go really artistic with this. So for this tutorial, we'll just add some text. So we will create a text field here. It'll say boom and a few exclamation marks. I will select my text, make sure that it is another color so that we can actually see what we're writing. I'll make it like this deep red as well. I will also decrease the size so that it can actually be within this field. And of course, the font that we're going to use is Comic Sans. I will choose Comic Sans Bold Italic. Yes, say OK. We might actually want maybe to angle it a bit and position it. So now we have this extra graphic here. We might just want to add another one, for instance, like a to be continued section. So I'll choose a square. So I'll choose a rectangular selection tool. I will select a rectangular field down here. I'll just zoom in to make sure that it is pixel perfect. Zoom back out. And I will take my brush. I will of course create another layer, otherwise we'll be painting on our background copy layer here. We don't want that. So this is a separate layer. Yes, I will deselect. I will go to Effects and choose Stroke again. For this, we only want the black stroke and we want it to be about 5 pixels, I would imagine. We'll click OK. And again, we'll choose to write some text here. And we will write to, all caps. So to be continued, exclamation mark. Select the entire text, Control or Command A, and just scale it back a bit. Make the text black and move it into place. And here we have it, our done, finished comic book look to any picture that you might have in your library. So thank you for watching, everyone. See you next time.